right, looks like we're live here. How's it going, friends? Jason here. How is it going? Been a while since I've been in front of you. Checking the live streams here, making sure we are working properly everywhere that we should be. We are live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, we're live on YouTube, a couple different places. Let me know your name as you're coming in. And yeah, it's wonderful. It's Thanksgiving week here in the States, so we got a lot of things going on and it's exciting. But I just wanted to really start reconnecting with everybody and really start driving some heavy value home for everyone in terms of business and in terms of mindset and success, because you do need to marry everything in order to get things going, right? That's just kind of where we are in the world and in life. And so, yeah, let's dive right into it. Now, I want to talk to you today about a specific subject that I know hampers a lot of people. I know certainly in my years of being in business, and especially, graduating from, or I should say graduating, but from moving from person who is doing it themselves to then becoming someone who teaches others how to do it and become successful. You kind of see certain patterns throughout the life, right? You see certain patterns that present themselves in multiple different ways, and it's almost like the same type of stuff keeps coming up. And so you do know and observe what really hampers people. And when it comes down to certain things, a lot of it is this thing of excuses. And so I'm going to ask you today, what is it that you are using, in terms of excuses? What excuses are keeping you from succeeding? All right. But before we do that, if you're not familiar with me, again, my name is Jason, and I help home-based business owners and online entrepreneurs take their passions and their businesses and really turn them into wildly profitable enterprises using the power of the internet as well as strategic business systems. Been doing this for a while. I love it. I enjoy it. And that's what I do on the side, because my full-time profession is not a profession, but rather a calling. I'm also in full-time ministry, but I absolutely love helping business owners succeed, right? And especially in this day and age, there's no reason why any of us shouldn't be succeeding, not with all that's available to us. Which brings us back to the question that I have to ask you: what excuses are you, allowing yourself to be stopped by? What are the excuses that you see keeping you from succeeding online in your business, or, whatever your goals are? But specifically with regards to business, I can tell you that I have seen a lot of the same, excuses pop up and keep people from breaking through. And when I say breaking through, sometimes it's from the beginning to the first monument, the first goal, the first milestone, the first sale. And then from there, scaling up, right? From hitting the next level, whatever that is, to full freedom, to full financial independence, to full success, whatever you want to call it. And so if I were to pull, the curtain back and say, okay, well, what is it that's really keeping us from, moving forward and succeeding? I have come down to basically just a handful of excuses, and I probably bet that none of these are going to come as a surprise to you. All right, let me get and tell you what they are. Whether you're willing to admit it or not, which is a whole nother option, a whole nother topic. Whether you're willing to admit it or not, these are probably the excuses that you're telling yourself, or that other people maybe are influencing upon you, but they are excuses nonetheless. And the cool thing about it, I should say the nice thing about excuses, is that they're easily overcomable, usually with the help of some outside influence. And for you, I'm that guy today. Okay, so let me go ahead and tell you what I hear most. All right, what excuses are keeping you from succeeding? What excuses are holding you back from really crushing it in your business, online or offline? Usually, the first thing is I don't have the time. Right, I don't have the time. It becomes an issue of time. And I got to be honest, this is probably a fair assessment, right? And this is a fair reasoning, I should say. This is fair for you to say, because a lot of people don't have time, all right? But I also got to tell you that statement in and of itself is a little bit flawed, because think about it like this, and maybe you've heard this rebuttal, maybe you've heard this reasoning, but let me reason with you a little bit. Who has more time than anybody else, right? Does it happen to be where you have more time allotted to you than I do? No, the reality is there's 24 hours in a day. Everyone is given the exact same amount of time. The answer then, the issue then comes in, well, what are you doing with the hours that are given to you? Now, I get it. Some of us have responsibilities, jobs, family, and so on, right? But the reality is you've got to be able to differentiate time and separate some time from this to that, right? The answer is very simple here, okay? If you don't have time to do something, it means you need to stop doing something else. And that's a hard conversation sometimes for people, right? But again, I'm talking to someone who's looking to really build a business and be successful. I'm not talking about someone who's just looking for there's problems to be solved. You've got to figure this out. You got to put your big boy pants on, right? You got to put your, your big girl. I'll leave it to you ladies to decide what you need to put on. But you understand what I'm saying here. All right. What is it that you need to put down so that you can do something else? And this comes where, this is where it enters that you've got to really shift some things around in your life. Okay. So when is it? Right. And if you really want this bad enough, then you've got to make it happen. I can tell you, being a guy who has no time, no one is limited on time more than me. I feel like that way, being a full-time ministry. And this comes, even more so than when I was, traveling as a speaker and a consultant and a coach, doing all that crazy stuff. I love that lifestyle, but I can tell you, being a full-time pastor rivals that on any given day. And no one is more busy than me. And yet I can still find the time to do it. It's just about how I manage my time, and it's about how I prioritize my time. And now let me give you some raw and uncut advice, right? Let me give you the hardcore. If it meant staying up in the middle of the night or getting up a few hours early, would you be willing to do it? So the issue is not really a time issue. It's a willingness issue. It's a commitment issue. If it meant that you had to stay up in the middle of the night, if it meant that you had to get up early, would you do it? If it meant that you had to deny yourself a couple hours of sleep, right? No one said that this was going to be a cakewalk. But if the issue is time, then this is how you solve it, right? Not to mention, let me go ahead and throw in something for free. For me, I have found that some of my the time where I'm most productive, some of the best breakthroughs and time that I had the best focus time, the best productivity time for me has been in the wee hours of the night, right? Or the wee hours of the morning when it's quiet and still and free from distractions, and the little ones aren't jumping all over me, right? So time is one of the bigger excuses. Next one is I don't have the skills, right? I don't have the skills. I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. I don't know how to build websites. I don't know how to sell. I don't know how to build systems, whatever you want to call it. Now, here's the thing. Thankfully, if you use the word skills, you use the right word, because a lot of people are confusing and conflating skills with talent or gifts. Some people are saying, they're maybe looking at a person like me, not that I'm a great example, but they could be looking at anybody and saying, listen, I can't do what they're doing. Okay, they have so much charisma, or they have a really good presence. They look good on camera, right? Sometimes, especially with you ladies, you're a little bit more, reserved about how you look on camera or what have you. And no matter what you throw out there, a lot of the times what people are talking about are the talents and gifts that people might be born with. And I'm telling you that when it comes to building a business, when it comes to succeeding online, offline, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't have to do with a whole lot of that. Much of it is skill-based. A lot of these are skills. And skills, unlike talent, unlike gifts, skills can be learned. Skills can be learned, they can be acquired, they can be honed, they can be developed. And ultimately, I'm telling you that everyone and anyone can do this. There was a day when I never thought I'd be able to get in front of a camera, right? And do what I'm doing now, right? There was a day when I wanted to become a YouTuber, but never thought I could actually achieve a YouTube channel with thousands of views and viewers and so on. Well, I have it now. Now, I'm not the gold standard when it comes to YouTube or this type of thing, but I've been able to do it. Why? Certainly not because of the way I look, not because of my personality. No, I got after it. I learned some skills. I put them into practice and practice and practice and practice. And now here I am. The same is true with your online business. The same is true with whatever you're trying to do. If you're trying to build a business, an enterprise, if you're trying to establish something and carve something out for yourself, you can absolutely do it as long as you put the time in to learn the skills and then execute on it, right? So again, easy rebuttals, but they are there, right? And those are the simplest things, right? Everything else comes down to those things. I don't know how, or I don't have the time. The other thing that you hear a lot of is the money portion, right? The money portion, which is I don't have enough money, right? Or I don't have thousands of dollars. I don't have a truckload of money in order to start a business and to propel this business. And I will tell you that as hard as it is, right, as difficult as it might seem, you don't need a whole lot of money to at least get started, right? The only money that you need to get started is the minimum to get started, if there is a minimum, right? Perhaps let's call it, maybe some of you are getting started in business with the support of a company, affiliate network or network marketing or MLM, very small cost barrier to entry, very small cost for that, right? Very little, a few $100, if that. And there are programs nowadays that cost a little bit less. I know that some of the programs that I promote that we're absolutely crushing it with and doing very well with don't cost much at all to get started, right? But once that's done, a lot of people think, okay, in order to propel this thing, I need to come up with, I need to mortgage my house and I need to dump tons of money. And that's not the case. Could money absolutely help you in that regard? Sure, it can. But I would argue that it's not the smartest thing to do anyways when you're starting out, because you haven't had the skill set to prove it yet. So give it some time to do that. But when it comes to money, all you really need to get started with is what you need to get started with. And then if you couple that with the skills and the execution, then believe me, you'll see some of the money come in. The question then will be, are you smart enough? Are you disciplined enough to take those earnings and, rather than blow it, reinvest them back into the business, back into yourself, so that you can continue to execute on these further, right? So when it comes to money, that's really what I have to say about that, on top of the fact that the money is out there if you really want it. There is money to be had. You can find it, right? And you can acquire it. And that's another conversation that a lot of people don't want to have, especially in this industry. We want things to be quick and easy. We want to remove the idea that we're still trying to build a business, and therefore you have to do what a business owner does. And that is hustle, and that is work, and that is, cut deals, and that is to do what you have to do. And so if the issue is, well, I just don't have enough money to go ahead and put into this thing to propel it, my question is, okay, well, when are you going to go get it? However it is for you to go get it. Maybe you take a legitimate side hustle on the side, delivering food, driving Uber, walking your neighbor's cat or dog, right? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Like, you have to do what you have to do. And where I see a lot of people fall and fail here is because they're not disciplined in order to do those things and to execute those things, right? So there you have it, my friends. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Those are the top 3 excuses that I see that are keeping people back from executing and from succeeding. And hopefully now you have an idea that, listen, once you've talked it through, or had me talk it through with you, they're not valid excuses, right? Certainly not excuses that can't be overcome, right? And this brings me to one last point, is that sometimes, though, one blessing that is available to a lot of us is that you want to, if you have the opportunity to, which a lot of you do, is to consider jumping into a business model that helps you mitigate some of these excuses as much as possible. I've kind of come at you with it from the standpoint of starting from zero, starting from scratch, right? No time, no money, no skills. And that's true, right? But thankfully, there are businesses out there, right? And if I'm talking to you and you're in the affiliate marketing world, or if you're in the network marketing world or multi-level marketing world, you know kind of where I'm going with this. There are business models out there. There are organizations out there. There are opportunities out there that literally help you to cut those things in half, or at least to drastically reduce it. And that's a value in itself. How do they do that? Well, again, lower cost entry, smaller cost, right? Much less, in terms of barrier to entry, rather than going to mortgage your house and going to pay for all these things like you would for a brick and mortar business. No, it's usually the cost of a reseller fee plus the product itself, so that you have moral authority and you can sell it knowing that you sold something that you buy and you believe in, right? Which everyone should do anyway. Whatever the product costs and the ability to sell it. And sometimes there's not even a reseller fee attached to that. You can sign up as an affiliate for free, or you can sign up as a distributor or reseller for minimal costs, right? Great. And then maybe a couple costs for a few systems that you need to have in place online, things that we use, standard stuff, page builders and autoresponders and, some tech stuff out there, all of which can be shown to you. And then how they help you mitigate the time is that there's a schedule already plugged in, or maybe there's a system that is introduced that is created on your behalf, that'll work on your behalf, and you just have to plug into it, right? And then it does limit the time, because it's cuts in half your learning curve, things like that. So you think about those things, right? And then on top of the skills and, I don't know how to do this, well, usually that is mitigated by way of a mentor, right? So it comes down to people and systems, right? People who can help you, who can show you, who can duplicate it, help you duplicate that. Systems help you that in that regard as well. So consider jumping into a business like that, at least until the time comes where you can create enough capital for yourself so that you can go and create whatever it is that you want to do out there. And then, interestingly enough, you might also find yourself perfectly happy and content with this company that you're in right now. So there are those that exist out there. You think about that, right? You don't have to start from the ground up and try to become Elon Musk overnight. It certainly wouldn't happen anyway, right? So those things exist, I've done well at some of those, right? I've done well at several of them, many of them, right? And the one that I'm involved in right now, one of the main ones that I am involved in right now, is absolutely crushing it all over the world, and we're doing very, very well. Okay, if you want to go ahead and take a look at that, No pressure. Let me know. Give me a comment in the in the section in the comments below that just says info, and I can send that to you. It's amazing. On top of that, I've created a vast and tremendous bonus package that for people who want to come alongside with me, which includes a lot of that I'm talking about, right? Replacing systems and building things and mentorship and all that good stuff at no extra cost, right? So you consider all those things. But hopefully this it was helpful to you. Hopefully you got value out of this. So make sure that you like and you follow. Again, drop me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking here and how this is reflected on your life and what excuse you're going to go ahead and start kicking to the curb and no longer let bog you down. All right. Till next time, I will see you later, my friends. I'll take care. See you later.